Hey, Cuz!
Oh, hey, what's up, everybody? It's Big House.
What's the Cuz man doing?
Welding up a cage
Are you welding up a cage?
because wood doesn't go in cars. I've been doing this a long time.
My main submission vehicle this year is a 2022 Jeep Grand Wagoneer, fully loaded, stage 1 with the Macintosh audio system. The customer came into us seeking what we can do to potentially upgrade the system. Next, we brought it down to the bay to do some further investigating as far as speaker size, depth, frequency response. Also to see if we had any preamp integration possibilities from like PAC or Mobridge or anything like that, with 4 overhead ceiling effect speakers and a 12-inch sub, making this vehicle a 24-channel active setup. So now what can we do to improve this? We decided to start with the weakest point and get rid of the coaxial dash speakers and upgrade those with a Brax 3-inch and bring the tweeters over to the sail panels on the doors for a little more separation between the mid and the tweeter. Which brings us to our first challenge. As there was no factory accommodations for a tweeter on the sail panel, we had to now incorporate a tweeter, a kind of large tweeter on top of that, inside of the door, and have a seamless outlook with the rest of the vehicle. So I took pictures of the door, incorporated them or exported them into VCarve, and then started my design process. Did a couple overlay designs and seen where, it fit the best. And then lasered some acrylic, assembled the acrylic, and matched it to the factory gloss and satin finish. Next, we decided to keep the factory mid-bass drivers and just reamp them. They were adequate drivers with a nice response initially. So we did some dampening to the vehicle doors and made a rigid vapor barrier to increase bass response. Then moving over to the rear, we replaced the rear door speakers with a set of 6.5 two-way Blam signatures, and kept the rear OEM D-pillar coaxials and just reamplified those as a rear effect. Then for the sub, we removed the factory 12-inch sub and enclosure and replaced it with a 12-inch JL Audio TW3 and a custom fiberglass enclosure. With doing this, we also needed to fabricate a new grille to accompany for the sub's excursions, all the new power and how it would be displayed. We needed something that would be clean and functional, but in a way that the vehicle can still retain all its functionality. So we built and designed a amp rack and trim panel that would hide underneath the cargo storage, retain all of the factory storage. The sub enclosure grill would not go past any openings to where they wouldn't be able to open the cargo floor and display it. Also, remove the cover in order to get to the jack access points as well. Powering this monster were 2 Helix M6 DSPs and 1 Helix M1X, giving us 12 channels of active 100 watts by 6 and a 13th channel to go to the M1X. Having full active 13 channels of processing allowed us to seamlessly blend all of the speakers, timeline, and do all the corrections that we needed in order to optimize the sound for the customer. Once everything was built, I went into the wiring side, which led us to our next problem. Though we initially tested all the response wires and scoped the vehicle for clipping, we were pretty confident that we were able to use the PAC AMP Pro CH31 modified the same as the Durango. Even talking with PAC, we had the confidence that it was doable and that it shared the same can. Ended up not being the case, still a little too early in the vehicle, and we had to scrap that and go channel to channel. Luckily, having two DSPs in the vehicle, we were able to address the input side, it being a factory active system. So after getting all the signal and everything situated and a good tune, got the vehicle turned on and put together, and customer loved it. Ended up working out extremely well. Customer was pleased and was actually shocked on how much impact with just replacing a couple of the drivers and reamplifying the existing OE drivers that we left in the doors, which were the 6x9s, rear effects, and a couple of the other drivers. Reamplifying them, retuning, retime aligning, and customer was blown away, which allowed us to go to phase 2. Phase 2 of the vehicle was to protect the vehicle from speeding tickets. Our favorite thing to do, get in the vehicle, we're in our music, we're loving it, going fast, don't even realize. Well, we need some protection from the police, so we got him into the best stealth unit that we could get him into, the Stinger radar system. And very cool system. It uses a 1/8 inch hole to house a emitter and receiver, and that's all that's a visible side. So very stealthy, very cool unit. Let's talk system design. We're gonna go outside of the realm in your basic car audio and stuff like that and just move to a different part of the automotive side, and that'd be radar detectors and laser systems. A lot comes into system design when doing it, because oftentimes you're doing stuff on the exterior of the vehicle where the customer is the most picky. Though they're picky on the interior as well, when you're changing the physical appearance of the exterior of the vehicle, it has a bigger impact to a customer. So, first thing is customer comes in and states they're looking to do a laser radar system. First thing is, you break it down and tell them what units you have to offer, from your basic window mounts to your stealth radar detector to your fully integrated stealth radar detectors, and break it down to each side, the flaws and the pros of each product, whether it be a window mount and you not have laser shifting that's integrated and everything into it, or front and rear radar, though some offer those features, not all do, to your stealth radar detectors, where you have a exterior sensor that gets mounted on the vehicle, and you're more or less mounting and securing it to the vehicle without any kind of physical beauty panels or anything along like that. That's just the panels, the sensors stuck to the vehicle, fixed to the vehicle, where no matter the speed, you're not worried about them falling off and them working properly. To the final one, where it's a full stealth integrated radar detector. And this is where it really comes down to where the customer's wanting, and they fall between any one of those three categories. And customer comes in and they say, I want a fully stealth radar system, I don't want anybody to see nothing. All right, we'll go out to the vehicle, we'll talk about where sensor placement's going to be, where it's going to achieve the most accuracy, and then we're going to go over position mounting and what we can do to make it look the best, whether it be IR acrylic or use a Stinger system where it's just a fiber octave emitter and receiver, or whatever be the case. And then to the interior, whether we're doing a custom mount controller that flips out of your steering column, or whether it just be the display mounted over by an easy accessible area. And then the serviceability and reversibility of all of this, in order to take your $500,000 Ferrari and not damage any of the product when you trade it in 5 years on your lease or whatever have it be, or your brand new Bentley Bentayga and you want to, you know, upgrade to the new Range Rover or something, and you need to remove the system, but you don't want that $5,000, $10,000 system just to go to waste, and you definitely don't want to ship it. And this is all in the system design. So on the removability, the serviceability, the product workability, and the actual result, the end result of what the customer is wanting, that all falls down in the system design. Clean wiring and integration is a must. The serviceability and the reliability of the product that we're installing in the vehicle is second to none. When we're installing these vehicles, the customers are entrusting us in order to have the product to that best of their ability. And in order to do that, we need to do it correctly. And wire management is a big thing. You don't have a secure wire in the vehicle, it's flipping, flopping around, knocking on a panel, or, you know, can potentially come loose, or you have a bunch of electrical tape instead of shrink wrap, where you can have isolated wires that touch each other and they get your wires all gooey, to non-clean wiring harnesses behind your radio. God forbid you ever take the vehicle in for service, and the last thing you want to do is hear your dealer be like, your vehicle's electrical warranty is void because somebody puked the wiring out of your dashboard. So wire management is extremely important. It also speaks to the type of fabricator or installer or technician that you are, to bring the job from design to the electrical technical aspect to the beauty side is really the key thing. And none of it goes anywhere unless it works properly, and with doing that, it needs proper wiring. Troubleshooting for any technician is an absolute must. To know how to read, you know, not only a 12-volt multimeter, but also to understand what you're looking at is extremely important. There's multiple different times when it's not gonna be a simple cut and dry, oh, it's the ground, check your ground, or your 12-volt source is not there. You know, it could be an amperage problem, it could be a resistance problem, there could be 1,000 different variables, and it all depends on your knowledge on troubleshooting on how you're gonna achieve the best outcome from this. So, you know, it could be a Range Rover with a water damaged amplifier because the sunroof decided on clogging up and pouring a bunch of water into the quarter panel, and you needing to know and have the trust in your diagnostic ability to tell the customer, yeah, you got to spend, you know, $700 on a new amplifier, or whether it be a Bentley Continental GT where the head unit goes bad, and you need to be able to tell them, you know, that with confidence that it's that. And you need to be able to test the CAN networks, you need to be able to test the 12-volt and the DC amperage, the resistance in the lines, and also need to be able to go into your scanners and be able to look at the software and the gateways and make sure that they're functioning properly. With these modern day vehicles, there's 100 different variables that can go wrong, and without you having a basic or even a little bit of a troubleshooting skill set, you're not going to go very far. It's a very, very important skill set to have. Now to fabrication, absolutely my favorite part, probably what I'm also best known for. Fabrication and different installation techniques that fall very close to fabrication are the most importance when it comes to putting an aftermarket product into a vehicle. The way that it's secured to the vehicle, the way that it functions with the vehicle, and the way that it looks with the vehicle, you know, all falls down to the fabricator that is installing the product and how secure it's going to be. You know, when thinking about building or thinking about designing parts, I always like to think of it as a house. I'm always going to start with the foundation up. So securing then mounting points, then to design and where I'm able and where my limitations are to what I can achieve. So take for instance a tweeter pod on a sail panel. You know, how am I going to get the tweeter there? Do I got enough mounting depth? Is it going to be secure if the vehicle ever gets into an accident? Is it going to be secure while the door is opening and closing 1,000 different times? And then is it going to look out of place? So, you know, the very first thing you're going to look at, whether or not you got the depth. If you got the depth to negatively sink it, then yeah, cool. You're going to be able to make it look seamless, very, very efficiently. But if you have to come out from the door panel, now you got to think about how you're going to integrate that, how you're going to make that seem like it belonged to the vehicle, and what you can do to make it as seamless as possible. You're able to, you know, my favorite design feature would be to take a picture of it, put it onto the computer, and then design on the computer from there. From there, I'm able to transfer it to the laser, and whether it be acrylic, ABS, you know, I rarely use woods in vehicle. I'm a fan of organic materials to the vehicle. So if you're using aluminum, ABS, PVCs, or things of that sort, or different composite materials, tasks and tooling that it takes to create these parts. You know, we live in a day and age where CNC lasers and laser routers are of the norm, and it's wise for one to learn those. And oftentimes your employer will not fork out the money in order for you to, you know, benefit those kind of courses or anything like that. It's upon you in order to take yourself out of your comfort zone and learn something new. You're gonna fail at it a couple times, but the thing is to move on with it and go forth with it. And that's what I've done my entire career. I've learned from my failures, one after another, and it's got me to where I am today. Our personal challenge for me this year that I've overcome was moving from Phoenix, Arizona to Nashville, Tennessee, relocating my family. I have a 7-year-old that had to switch schools, and an infant that, you know, had to move along with us, which is always a fun deal when you're inside of a car for 26 hours or something like that. Then adapting to the new climate where, you know, Phoenix is warm all year round and Nashville has all 4 seasons. And a professional evolution that I've overcome this year would be when coming to Titan. I was a 17-year veteran that had a salary-based pay pretty much my entire career, and coming over to Titan, there was a commission base where it doesn't allow you to necessarily see your flaws, but it allows you to see your inefficiencies to help better yourself and create more of an efficiency for the shop. Education this year, aside from Vegas's Knowledge Fest, the fabrication class, OEM integration classes, and things that I attended there and learned from, I also in March attended the Mobile Solutions Master Tech Expo, where I was invited to be part of the build-off, where we had a task to produce panels in front of a live audience in a set amount of time. It really allows you to, you know, see where your strong points are and where your weak points are, especially when you're doing it in front of a crowd. It allows you to overcome a couple things, and you really learn how to grow as an individual from the pressure, essentially. Personal achievements for the upcoming year is to definitely get my MECP renewed and potentially go all the way to Masters by the end of the year. I also was invited back to the Mobile Solutions Master Tech Expo to compete in the build-off again this year. I like to think I play a pretty pivotal role here at Titan Motoring. I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy for the most part. I'm definitely a joker on the, you know, more playful side. Sometimes, you know, a little bit aggressive on that, I guess. But for the most part, I like to say that I'm a pretty happy-go-lucky guy. I like to spread the positivity. I think it helps with the efficiency of the shop when you're not glumming around or holding grudges or doing things like that. Doing what you can to try to brighten up the mood. We all have our bad days, we all have our flaws, but you know, for the most part, I like to try to stay the positive guy, try to make you laugh, lighten up the mood, do whatever I can to try to make our day go by and get what we need to get done. I'm not the only fabricator here. I am one of the designers, though. I like to think that I've got a pretty keen eye for design. I do big, large-scale builds, such as sprinters and full projects from electrical harness all the way up. So it doesn't matter the task that I'm handed to, whether it be the Decker 4 or the big sprinter build. I'm able to handle the task put at hand in order to allow the day to go by as seamlessly as possible in whatever is tasked at hand. What makes me be the best and best installer? Honestly, I don't know how to answer that. I know that I can tell you that every single day that I wake up, I give 110%. Whether I'm sick or what, I'm here at work. I live, breathe, and eat this industry for the last 17 years. I've done everything in my power to advance my career in this industry. When I wanted to learn fabrication, I took up an internship at a body shop to learn body work and welding and things like that. When I wanted to learn automation and movement and stuff like that, I worked at an automated bakery line that allowed me to build robotic bakery equipment in order for me to learn different automation stuff. So when I want an amp rack to move, I know the proper way of doing it. I know the proper way of securing it. I've taken classes in vehicle engineering and software design, different knowledge fests, different mobile solution trainings. I've attended at minimal of 10 mobile solutions trainings. Honestly, I couldn't answer what truly qualifies me to be the best of the best installer. Other than that, I really do give my best to this industry, and I spread my knowledge at any given time that I can, whenever requested, whenever asked a question. I get asked a lot of different times how I would go about this, what my opinion is on this, what I can do to do this. Or
Hey, this is Brian Schmidt from Mobile Solutions. Just want to say a few words for Dave Cause. I've known Dave for a good 10, 15 years now. He's an awesome guy. And you know what I love about Dave is he's able to adapt to all kinds of different ways. His style of building always changes. It's always different. It's always unique. And he's just gotten better and better over the years. So hats off to Dave. He's doing a tremendous job, and we wish you the best.
Hey there, Doug Dobson, HKI USA. Just want to take a second to talk to you about my friend Dave Cause. Dave is one of the best installers that I know. He is extremely creative. He has come up with some ideas that blow my mind, and I've been in this industry for 40 plus years. A couple years ago we did a contest at MSC America when we introduced the conductor, and what Dave came up with made everyone go, like, how did he even think of this? And he pulled it off, and it worked really, really well. Won the contest. I've had him make pieces for me, even though I'm an installer myself. I just know he has a creative edge, and when I need something really special, I've had him make pieces up for me. He's super giving. I could get into him being a great family man and whatever else, fantastic photographer, oh my God. But Dave, I think, should definitely be heavily considered as Installer of the Year for the effort he puts in, the creativity he's got, his willingness to help anyone that's around him, anyone who reaches out to him, and just generally having a great attitude all the time.
Cause?
Yep. Hi, my name is Ray West, and I am endorsing Dave Cause for Installer of the Year. He is a tech. He's been here 2 days ago, I believe, is 1 year. And I've been following Dave for quite a while, probably, I don't know, 8 or 9 years or so. We've been chatting on the internet and met him a couple times, and being able to have him here and doing things for me and with us and with me is fantastic. I knew a little bit about him and knew he was more on the technical side, which I like. That's me. I'm not the best fabricator. Everyone knows that. But the techie side of Dave, I love. So I've had a few techs throughout my career that really meshed, and I could work alongside or try to explain an idea to them, and their brain instantly gets it, and we're on the same wavelength, right? Dave's one of those guys, so that's easy for me to be able to come up with some harebrained way of controlling something or integrating into something, and Dave gets it. On the fabrication side of things, Dave is light years beyond anything I've ever done, and but I still lend insight into how fit and finish works and longevity of an install, and not just that it all clicked together one time, but can you service it later? What if someone else takes it apart? How does it look when it goes back together from that person? That type of thing. So, can you open a glove box all the way, or can you open a glove box with the door shut, and like that type of weird stuff. But anyway, so in the beginning, first couple weeks, I got Dave doing some crazy interior things, and he would catch me coming by and busting out my flashlight and looking behind a certain panel or an opening, and really I was just checking to see if he had just already done what I would have set up if I was building that. And it was already done, and he's like, "What are you looking for?" I'm like, "Oh, I was looking at how these two panels are going to meet, or where's this contour going to end up, and or the profile going to land." And he had already been there and figured it out, and I've done that a handful of times, and every time I bust out my light, he gets all, I guess, insecure a little bit, but just he knows that I'm looking for certain little tidbits behind the scenes, so when everything comes together later, we're not caught with our pants down. Sometimes that's cool. Sometimes that's the jam. That's the party we're at. But most of the time, I'm just looking for little things. Like if I'm at my desk and I see one of my other guys post something, or I'm looking at a picture from some other facility across the nation, and I'm like, man, those lines just really hit right, and all that seemed mechanically to be exactly how you would want it, right? It's perfect. And then I'll go back and think about what he's building and kind of peek in behind him. So he's hitting it all the time, and I love his brain, and that is it for Dave Cause.
Finally, Cause as installer.
Yep. My name is Philip Lindsley, owner of Titan Motoring. This is my official endorsement for David Cause. He has been a light here for sure. He's super talented. The fabrication diversity of his skill sets is just unmatched, from welding to acrylics and plastics and CNC and laser knowledge, and just the well-rounded knowledge and experience has been really neat to watch. Positive attitude. People like to be around him. He doesn't miss days. Even if he doesn't feel good, he's generally here. And he just kind of is, he wants to push. He wants to push and be better. He wants to push and learn new things and try different things. And, same like these other guys, man, the passion is just unmatched. So it's cool to be around and to see how the mind works. But some of his projects that he's done here, the Sprinter van and these other things that he's doing are, the quality, attention to detail, design to execution is few and far between the way that mind works. So 100%.